Hello students, welcome back to chemistry class. Today's class, it is about the spectroscopy. Already spectrophotometry was explained for you, and the latest one, the branch of science which deals with the study of interaction of matter with the light is spectroscopy. And today's session will see about the spectroscopy. So it is the branch of science that deals with the study of interaction of electromagnetic radiation with the matter. It is called as a spectroscopy. So before that, this branch of science which deals with the study of interaction of matter with the light, first of all, we have to know about the light, electromagnetic radiation. So electromagnetic radiation, this radiation is the propagation of the light. Generally, the visible light, it is in the form of energy, and it is having complementary theories, that is the wave theory and the corpuscular theory. So wave theory is related in the spectrophotometry. So the propagation of light, which in the propagation of the light, which involves both electric and magnetic forces, are known as electromagnetic radiations. And this electromagnetic radiation, it is divided into 5 different regions. So this electromagnetic radiation, it is divided into 5 different regions, and that light which is interacted with the matter and which reveals the structure of the molecule, that branch is spectroscopy. So the study of interaction of electromagnetic radiation with molecules or atoms is spectroscopy. Spectroscopy, it is of two types. Spectroscopy, absorption spectroscopy and emission spectroscopy. The study of absorbed radiation by molecule in the form of spectra is called absorption spectroscopy. UV, ultraviolet, visible, ultraviolet visible spectra, infrared spectra, IR, nuclear magnetic resonance spectra, in the colorimetry, atomic absorption spectroscopy, all these come under absorption spectroscopy. So, absorption spectroscopy, here there is interaction of EMR with atomic molecules. The interaction is such a way that the molecules or the atoms absorb the electromagnetic radiation EMR, and on absorption, some amount on absorption of the light, the spectra you can observe. You can observe some of the spectra, bands or the lines. Such type of spectra is called absorption spectroscopy. Coming to the emission spectroscopy, the radiation, it is whatever is absorbed. Here again, the interaction of electromagnetic radiation with the atoms. First, the absorption takes place, but you don't get the spectra, and whatever is absorbed, it is emitted. On emission, you get spectra. So that type of spectroscopy, that branch of spectroscopy, is called as emission spectroscopy. For example, you are having flame photometry, fluorometry. The radiation, whatever is emitted by the molecules, are studied to reveal the structure of the molecule. Now, the spectroscopy, atomic spectroscopy, molecular spectroscopy. Again, our spectroscopies are of two: absorption, emission. In that similar way, this spectroscopy, it is atomic, it can be atomic spectroscopy, and it can be molecular spectroscopy. Interaction of EMR with the atoms is atomic spectroscopy. The changes in the energy level takes place at the atomic level. changes of the energy takes place at the atomic level. Now, for example, a atomic absorption spectroscopy and flame photometry. These two come under atom spectroscopy. Here the energy changes takes place at the atom level. Now, coming to the second one, molecular spectroscopy. Interaction of EMR with the molecules is called as molecular spectroscopy. Here, the changes of the energy level takes place at molecular level. Example, ultraviolet, IR, colorimetry. All these result in the transitions between vibrational and rotational energy levels. Now, our spectrum, if you see the electromagnetic radiation, it is having it can respond to it is having two components, electrical component and the magnetic component. This magnetic radiation gives it's having different regions: gamma rays, X rays, ultraviolet, ultraviolet region, visible region, IR region, microwave region, and radio frequency region. So here, this is the order of increasing wavelength. So the lesser the wavelength, more is the energy. Now let us see the different regions of visible region. So before that I gave you here electromagnetic spectrum. So here gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet region, ultraviolet region. This is the visible region, and then comes infrared region, and then microwave region and radio frequency region. Now the ultraviolet region, we generally have five main regions to study for the molecular structure: ultraviolet region, visible region, infrared region, and microwave region, radio frequency region. Ultraviolet region, here the nanometer wavelength is from 150 to 400 nanometers. Ultraviolet region, it is from 150 to 400 nanometers. Visible region, it comes under 400 to 800 nanometers. And IR region, it comes from 800 to 4000 nanometers. Microwave region, it comes from 4000 to 10,000 nanometers. The radio frequency region, it is above 10,000 nanometers. So these are the different regions in the electromagnetic spectrum. Now we'll see the theory behind this each one. So in a visible region, different regions will study. Then comes to the theory. Ultraviolet region 190 to 400. As I have told you, it is from 150 to 400. And the visible region, it is 400 to 800. Visible region, it totally comes from 400 to 780 nanometers. So the violet region, this violet region, it is from 400 to 420. Again, indigo region, this indigo, it is from 420 to 440. Blue one, it is 440 to 490. And the green one, now comes the green one, it is from 490 to 570. And the yellow one, yellow region is from 570 to 585. Orange region, it is from this orange 585 to 620. Okay, so this orange. Now coming to this red region, it is from 620 to 780 nanometers. Now what happens? This ultraviolet region, generally all molecules, this UV region, what takes place is all the molecules containing sigma, pi, n electrons, generally the energy levels changes in the UV region. The once the molecules which contain pi, sigma, n electrons generally respond in the ultraviolet visible region, and some molecules in the IR region, what changes takes place is dipoles, oscillatory dipoles. So this change will be observed. The microwave region, permanent dipole moment will be changed. Radio frequency region, the hydrogen or the atomic or HNMR hydrogen, and similarly different atom NMRs you can study. Their atom nuclei will be changing. I is equal to half. So you can see in the UV region electronic transitions, vibration and transitions, rotational transitions in the IR region. Only rotational transitions in the microwave region. And in the radio frequency, atomic nuclear spin transitions we can observe. Now the theory of the light, you need to know some absorption laws. When a beam of light falls on solution and or a homogeneous medium, a portion of light is reflected from surface of the medium and a portion is absorbed within the medium and remaining is transmitted through the medium. So thus if I0 is the intensity of the radiation falling on the medium, then this whatever is incident radiation, that some amount is reflected, some amount is absorbed, and some amount is transmitted. So I naught is equal to IR, I naught is equal to reflected intensity of the radiation plus absorbed radiation plus transmitted radiation. Now we'll see the different absorption laws. Lambert's law, Beer's law, and on combination of these two you get Beer-Lambert's law. We'll see. Lambert's law. When a beam of monochromatic light, it is passed through a homogeneous absorbing medium, the rate of decrease of intensity, the rate of decrease of the intensity of incident radiation of wavelength lambda with the thickness of the absorbing medium to the intensity, it is proportional to the intensity of the incident radiation. I am repeating, a beam of monochromatic light passed through the homogeneous absorbing medium. So some amount it is absorbed. So that after absorbing, there is some decrease of the intensity of the radiation. So how much is decrease? It is proportional to the thickness of absorbing medium. It is proportional to the intensity of the incident radiation. So when monochromatic light is passed through homogeneous absorbing medium, the rate of decrease of intensity of radiation with thickness of absorbing medium, it is proportional to intensity of incident radiation. Di by dt is equal to Ki. I is the intensity of the incident light of wavelength lambda. T is the thickness of the medium. Now integrating both sides of the equation, you get I is equal to I naught. Therefore, ln I0 by IT is equal to KT. IT is equal to I0 into e to the power minus KT. I naught denotes intensity of the incident radiation. IT denotes intensity of transmitted radiation. K is the constant which depends on the lambda wavelength and absorbing medium. And now converting the above equation to the natural logarithms, LO base 10 IT is equal to I0 into 10 power minus 0.4343 kT. Again this is equal to I0 into 10 power minus kT. So it is proportional to the thickness. What you are getting here. IT proportional to transmittance proportional to the thickness. Now, intensity of the Beer's law. Lambert's law I have explained. Now we'll see Beer's law. Intensity of beam of monochromatic light decreases exponentially with increase in concentration of absorbing substance arithmetically. So the decrease in the intensity of monochromatic light, it is dependent on the concentration of the absorbing medium. So that is called as Pete's law. It is equal to I naught into e to the power of minus kc. It is equal to I naught into 10 to the power of minus 0.4343 kc. So this is equal to I naught 10 to the power minus kc. Next, combining Beer-Lambert's law, here you get I log of I0 by I is equal to E into C into L. E is the molar extinction coefficient constant. E is the concentration. L is the length of the sample. A is the absorbance. Okay, now the light is passing and again it is transmitted. So here you can see percent of T is equal to IT by I naught into 100. Now the limitations for these laws and the deviations for these laws. Keto-enol tautomerism couldn't be explained. Fluorescent compounds, solute, solvent, complexes couldn't be explained. There are some real deviations, instrumental deviations, and even chemical deviations for this law. Now, we'll see in detail UV visible spectra. UV visible spectroscopy measures, it is generally from ultraviolet visible region 200 to 400, 400 to 800 nanometers. So UV visible spectroscopy measures response of the sample to UV, ultraviolet, and the visible range of the electromagnetic radiation. Molecules have n bond, n comma, pi comma, sigma electrons. These electrons absorb UV radiation and undergoes transition from ground state to excited state. Now, the absorption of the UV radiation brings brings about the promotion of the whatever UV radiation it is absorbed. Once if you see whatever is absorbed by the UV radiation, it changes the promotion of the electron from bonding to antibonding orbital. Wavelength of the radiation is slowly changed. Wavelength of the radiation, it is slowly changed from minimum to maximum in that region. The absorbance at every wavelength is recorded. Then the plot of the energy absorbed versus wavelength is absorption spectra. So in this UV spectra, the significant features are lambda max, wherever it is maximum, wavelength at the maximum absorption, that is taken into consideration. Emax, intensity of the maximum absorption. Okay, so UV spectrum, it depends on the solvents and the concentration of the solution. Here we can see one example, acetone. Yeah. On the x-axis you are having wavelength in the nanometers. On y-axis you are having the absorption. Here as the wavelength is increasing, here the absorption starting initially it is increased and now it has decreased. It has reached maximum absorption at 270.5 nanometers. Therefore, here the lambda max we have to take into consideration. Now we'll see the different types of transitions observed. So observed electronic transitions, here the graphical representation energy, atomic orbitals, which were their non-bonding orbitals, and in combination you get molecular orbital. In that you're having four different orbitals: sigma, pi, n, sigma star, pi star. So in the ultraviolet region, different types of excitations are observed. One is the sigma 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 star transition, pi pi star transition, and n sigma star transition, n pi star transition. So in the ultraviolet region, the compounds having n electrons, pi electrons, sigma electrons generally show UV spectrum. So it is having four transitions: sigma sigma star, pi pi star, n pi star, and sigma star. So these sigma, pi, pi star, sigma star, all these are the bonding and the anti-bonding orbitals in the molecules. Now you can see four types of excitations here. One is sigma sigma star, the second one is the pi pi star. Okay, so you can see pi pi star, and third one is the n to the sigma star, n to the pi star. Now there are some allowed and forbidden transitions. Allowed transitions, the ones which are having the values of extinction coefficient more than 10 to the power of 4, are usually called as the allowed transitions. They generally arise due to pi star transitions. So example, you can take alkadienes 1,3-butadiene. Molar extinction coefficient is very high, 21,000. That is the allowed transition. Now, forbidden transitions. So forbidden transition, you are having the transitions that result as the excitation of the one electron from the lone pair present on the heteroatom to the pi star orbital. So each carbonyl compound, it is present for each and every carbonyl compound. So molar extinction coefficient value is 10 to the power of -4. Now there are some terms which we have to learn. So generally transitions, the four types of transitions where they are taking place, we'll see. So n pi star, n and pi star, it is shown by the molecules containing such as oxygen, nitrogen, double bonds. Whichever is having the double bond, that will be having n pi star or the pi transitions. So n pi star transitions are shown by the atoms such as oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. These transitions exhibit a weak band in the spectrum. Aldehydes, ketones, C double bond C, C triple bond C, all these are having n pi star. It is from generally 2,700 to 3,000 angstrom. On the other hand, the carbonyl compounds having double bonds separate to single bonds. Now, coming to the n sigma star transitions. These are shown by saturated compounds with one heteroatom with at least one lone pair of electrons. Okay, so they are n pi star. Now, coming to the third one, pi pi star. These are available in the compounds with double bond. So alkenes, aromatic compounds, carbonyl compounds, all these absorption occur around 170 to 190 nanometers. So these are the different types of transitions. So n sigma star transition, sigma sigma star transition, n sigma star transition, pi star are allowed, while n pi star is forbidden. Okay, only n pi star is forbidden. Remaining three are allowed transitions. In the alkanes, you can observe sigma star transition. Generally, in the alkanes, we can observe sigma star. Electronic transitions from lower energy level, bonding from sigma to sigma star. The electron here you can see from sigma to sigma star it is jumping. It is seen in the alkanes, the ones which are having single bonds. These transitions require high energy. Okay, so now coming to the N sigma star, it is observed in the heteroatom containing lone pair of electrons. So trimethylamine, you can take methanol, methyl chloride, generally have N sigma star. Now coming to the pi star, these transitions occur in unsaturated compounds containing double bonds, alkenes, aromatics, carbonyl compounds, all these. 170 to 190 nanometers we can observe. Now coming to the N pi star. These transitions occur in the compounds containing heteroatom. So these contain lone pair of electrons. Transition of lone pair of electrons, transition of the lone pair of electrons, n electrons from heteroatom to the pi star orbital, we can observe. Okay, so these are the different types of transitions in the UV region and UV visible region. We can see these transitions, and these due to these transitions, which type of molecules are showing which type of transition, and the molecular structure can be revealed. Now we have to know a nice concept, that is chromophore. So what is chromophore? Chromophore, it is the color imparting. So chromophore means color carrier. Chromophore is a color carrier, and it is called as the imparting color to the compound. So these are responsible for the imparting color to the compound. So chromophores means color carriers. Example, azodice, aryl conjugated azo group, AR, N double bond, N bond, AR. All these. The yellow color of the nitrocarbons, it is due to NO2 group. So NO2 is the chromophore. Okay, you have understood what is the chromophore. Now, so functional group absorbs in a compound, functional groups absorbs electromagnetic radiation. So it may be color or not color is produced, but that is the chromophore. So carbonyl group is considered as the chromophore. C double bond O. C double bond C is the chromophore. C double bond C triple bond C. R bond NO2. So it may give color or not, but the group which is responsible for absorption of the radiation is a chromophore. So C triple bond N, like that, different groups you have. These are called as a chromophore. Now let us see what is bathochromic shift. So bathochromic shift, the shift of the shift towards the longer wavelength and low energy region. The is this, you need the lambda max. So shift of the lambda max or maximum absorption, shift of the longer wavelength with low energy, the shift of the absorption maximum lambda max towards longer wavelength is called red shift or bathochromic shift. The shift of absorption maximum, the shift of absorption maximum lambda max towards longer wavelength is called red shift. This is otherwise called as bathochromic shift. Next, a shift of the shift of lambda max towards shorter wavelength. The shift of lambda max towards longer wavelength is redshift. Shift of lambda max or absorption maximum towards shorter wavelength is called blue shift or hypsochromic shift. The effect that is leading to decreased absorption intensity is called hypochromic effect. The effect leading to increased absorption intensity is called hyperchromic effect. So the effect leading to decreased absorption intensity is hypochromic. The intensity, the effect leading to decrease, the effect that is leading to decrease in effect leading to decreased absorption intensity is called hypochromic effect. The effect leading to increased absorption intensity is called hyperchromic effect. Here you can see the diagram. Here on the x-axis wavelength, on y-axis absorbance, and you are getting a peak here. The shift, the lambda max shifting towards longer wavelength. The lambda max absorption maximum, lambda max shifting towards longer wavelength is called bathochromic shift. The shift of lambda max towards lower wavelength, towards the shorter wavelength is called blue shift, or it is called the blue shift or the hypsochromic shift. Okay, and the effect leading to decreased absorption intensity is hypochromic effect, and the effect leading to increase absorption intensity is called hyperchromic effect. Okay, so now you have understood what is a chromophore, bathochromic, redshift, blue shift, hypsochromic shift, hyper, and the hypochromic shift. Yeah, these are the chromophore. I gave you examples. C double bond C, pi pi star at one set. Carbonyl group, NO group, and the CX group. All these are the chromophores having different electronic transitions and different lambda maxes in different solvents. Now, let us go for the instrumentation of the UV visible spectrometer. It is quite simple. Here, this is the ordinary light, UV visible light, monochromator. After splitting, you get here the beam of the light, and one, it is a double beam. One is going to the light is getting splitted. One beam it is going to sample, and the other beam it is going to the reference, and both of them are detected and they are given to the display. Thereby you get the spectra. Depending on this, you can reveal the structure. Here you can see. Okay, UV visible sources, sample, polychromator, prism, and diode. Okay, generally cuvettes will be taking concentration. Virtually UV spectra are recorded in the solution phase. The cells are made by plastic, glass, or quartz. Only quartz is transparent in full, 200 to 700 nanometers. Plastic, glass are all suitable for the visible. Concentration it is determined. Cuvette you call it. We have seen what is a chromophore. Okay, organic molecules which is responsible for color or the electromagnetic absorption. The functional group capable of having the characteristic electronic transition is chromophore. So chromophores generally, yeah, we had a brief study. Attachment of these substituent groups can shift the energy of the transitions. You have the substituents that increase the intensity, often wavelength of the absorption of the oxychromes. Commonly alkyl, hydroxyl, alkoxy. Okay, increased intensity, it is due to the oxychromes. Alkyl, hydroxyl, alkoxy, amino groups, etc. So I hope everybody have understood today's spectroscopy and electromagnetic radiation and UV visible spectra. Once again, I'm going to just give you a brief review about this one. Okay, what is a spectroscopy? We have seen spectroscopy. Okay, in the spectroscopy definition we have seen, and types, absorption and the emission spectra, and molecular spectroscopy, and the atomic spectroscopy, electromagnetic radiation, different regions, and according to the wavelength we are having here different regions. And in the UV region, visible region, we have seen visible violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. And the theory involved: incident light, it is equal to IR plus IA plus IT. Reflected, absorbed and transmitted lights. Absorption loss: Lambert's law, Bayes' law, Beer-Lambert's law. A is proportional to L, A is proportional to C, A is equal to E into C into L. A is the absorbance, C is the concentration, L is the length of the molar extinction coefficient is E. So on combining log I0 by I is equal to epsilon into C into A is, I. Limitations of this Beer-Lambert's law we have seen. And the principle behind the UV visible spectra we have seen. After that, the principle involved: what is absorption spectrum, how the graph is drawn, what are the different electronic transitions, 4 types of excitations, electronic transitions, and bonding molecular orbitals, anti-bonding, sigma, pi, bonding orbitals, this is non-bonding, pi star and sigma star are the anti-bonding orbitals, and what are the allowed transitions and what are forbidden transitions we have seen. What is a chromophore? Bathochromic shift, red shift, hypsochromic shift, blue shift, hyperchromic effect, hypochromic effect, different chromophores here, and the excitation, lambda max, the solvent, C double bond C, pi, pi star, 171, C double bond N, pi star transition and pi, pi star transition, 290 and 180, lambda max, hexane, N double bond O, N, pi star, 275, 200 in ethanol, and CX, N sigma star and sigma star, 205, 205, 255. In the hexane solvent you can observe. And what is the instrumentation of this UV we have seen diagram. Okay, and what is an oxochrome? We have seen what is a chromophore. Okay, I hope you have understood today's class. Okay, I hope everybody have understood today's class. Thank you, everybody. And tomorrow's class, we'll see about the other spectroscopies, mass spectroscopy. We'll see.